Thank you so much for having us. So I'm Dr. Megan, like you said. We work at Next Level Physio, which is like 10 minutes down the road. We treat a super active population, which is a lot of fun. So a lot of runners, people that do CrossFit, all sorts of things outside of work. And a lot of our patients sit all day long. So we want to help you guys have the tools to be able to have this job without having pain, but then also be able to do the things that you want to do outside of work. So we have a massive sitting epidemic in this country right now. Most people work desk jobs. The average American sits more than 7 hours a day, but then think that we're also sleeping 8-ish hours a day. That's over half of the day not standing, not being active. So trying to accommodate for that, change that a little bit. Studies show that 48% of people don't feel comfortable at their workstation, and most people also are just exhausted at the end of a work day. Those that sit most of the day are at increased risk for all of the big scary things that we want to avoid. Cardiovascular things, heart things, depression, back pain, and neck pain is the one that I hear all the time. And while regular exercise outside of work can make a little bit of a difference, it can't 100% accommodate for the sitting that happens during the day. So ergonomics, I'm sure most of you guys have heard that word before. It's basically just a study of people in their work environment. There's a bunch of different aspects to look at it from, but from the PT perspective, we look at it from body mechanics that are happening during the day that are going to impact pain levels and then what happens outside. We want to decrease the likelihood of injury, whether that be chronic injury from I'm sitting like this all day and my neck hurts, or I've been sitting like this and then I go out and I immediately go run 5 miles after work and I wasn't warmed up and I've been stiff all day, and then other things happen there too. So trying to decrease those risks. Better ergonomics means better, happier employees. And studies also show that when we have better ergonomics and resources to support us, we increase productivity, which then makes your employer happier. So everybody wins there. Bunch of symptoms of quote unquote poor ergonomics. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, but numbness and tingling. So numbness and tingling down the hand falling asleep when you're at a mouse pad for an extended period of time, or tingling of the neck. Sometimes people also get it down the legs. They're like, oh, my legs fall asleep after an hour of sitting or whatever it might be. Pain in general, aching or sharp, comes on in a bunch of different ways depending upon how things are going. General stiffness, swelling, and then loss of coordination. A lot of times we see people sit for a long period of time, and loss of coordination might even mean like, oh, like I can't reach for this at a certain time. We find that sometimes the cerebellum can be involved in that aspect. So 4 quick things we're going to talk about today. One is the 28-2 rule. It's got a lot of research to back it. Kind of give you guys some framework of like, how do I know that I'm doing quote unquote the right thing? Recommended setup, some accessory options, and then some PT exercises that can be useful. I'll give you some to do in the office and then also some out of the office that can help that posture. So 28-2 rule. Big study done at Texas A&M. So if we're going to sit for 20 minutes, which yes, you have to with your job, I'm not denying that at all. That's going to allow you to have that focus time. Then after 20 minutes, 8 minutes of standing. I love that I walked in and I saw that every single one of you guys has the option of a standing desk. I don't see that very often, so that is wonderful. So then bump that desk up 8 minutes, and then 2 minutes of moving in some capacity. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Go to the bathroom, go take a stroll, come back. In terms of the standing, that's going to promote quote unquote better posture. Yes, if we're here, it's still maybe not the best. So rising it all the way up. Shoe wear does matter. I have some patients that are like, I just stood for 8 hours in dress shoes. Yeah, that's probably going to not feel great as well. So even if I know that I don't have a meeting or whatever, slide the shoes off, put some tennis shoes on for an hour a day and then go back to the regular shoes. Having that option can be super supportive. And then also the squishy foam pads can be helpful for people as well. In terms of the moving, we know that increased blood flow is going to, one, decrease pain levels, but then also get blood to the brain, which is going to make you more productive. So your employers are going to be happier anyways. All right, go ahead, Jerry. So what the research supports, all the research that you've probably have heard your whole life is forward posture is bad. Don't be like this, sit up tall. The new research is showing that it's more of prolonged posture is bad. There might not be one bad posture. Yes, the research still supports that the forward posture is probably the worst, but also you can get extended periods of pain if you have this for 8 hours a day. It's more of changing posture that's going to decrease the pain levels than it is sitting in some perfect posture throughout the day. Also, the Texas A&M study showed that the 28-2 rule did not impair cognitive performance and then actually improved task performance. So moving around, move your body, getting blood flow to the areas is going to decrease pain, but also probably make you better at your job too. Let's talk a little bit about setup. So feet firmly on the ground. I'm 2 feet tall. This is really hard for me. But putting something underneath is totally fine. Like I've told people to use a shoebox before. Whatever it might take to get your feet on the ground if your chair doesn't go down further. If we don't have our feet on the ground, we've got a bunch of nerves back here, and all we're doing is compressing the nerves, which can make people's feet fall asleep. In terms of the chair, trying to get your hips back completely in the chair. It looks like your guys' chairs have some pretty good lumbar support, which is good. A lot of times I see like a flat back chair. So I love that you have those available to you. Knees bent roughly 90-ish degrees. That goes back to feet on the floor. I also see some tall people end up in this like scrunched position up here. That's also not going to be great because we're just lengthening those nerves. So for them, increasing the height of the chair so that we're still at roughly 90-ish. The monitor should be 1 to 2 inches below. So you should be looking slightly down, but not much. And then 20 to 30 inches away. Sometimes I know we all are guilty of like being like the monitor's right up against your face. Trying to back up a little bit, it's gonna put you in a better position here. And then elbows bent 90-ish degrees, maybe a little bit more. Anything that you're way out here, a lot of times people will get the numbness and tingling here. In terms of accessory options, I didn't know you all had standing desks. That is wonderful, I love it. The anti-fatigue mats is what we talked about as well. That's the squishy ones. Those have been shown in the research to decrease pain levels and fatigue levels with working for extended periods of time, year over year over year. Mouse pads can also be good. Some people are super picky about their mouse pads, but anything to put the wrist in a neutral position, anything where we're in extension for an extended period of time or flexion for an extended period of time. Just like we talked about, it's a matter of changing postures, not staying in the same thing. So having something to have a neutral position can be really good for people. Another one that I absolutely love is having the paper stands that are upright. If the paper's down here, you're automatically having to do this. So we're gonna end up with that fatigue. If we can just set ourselves up a little bit better to have the paper in front of us, then that's a better option. I also always encourage people to move everything around. Sometimes I'll talk to people and you're like, all right, let's talk about desk setup. And they're looking to the left the entire day. And then they have left-sided neck pain. So trying to move the paper side to side, move your chair side to side, adjusting there. We all have our tendencies, whether you're left or right-handed, but trying to do a little bit here and there can make a big difference down the road. All right, let's talk exercise options for you guys. And I have a sheet that I'm gonna email to you, and then you can send it out to everyone, and it's got links to everything. That way you guys have them for the future as well. So a couple ones that are super, super easy to do at work that don't really require any equipment. First one's upper trap stretch. All it is ear to the shoulder. You guys have probably seen this one before. It's pretty simple. And then SCM stretch, exact same concept, but now you're looking at your armpit. So those two are simple, usually 30-ish seconds. But again, like this can be a great thing to do during that 2 minutes of movement. Scapular car at the wall. This one people feel really awkward on, and it doesn't necessarily have to be at the wall. But so your scapula is meant to move in a circle. Most people are decent at moving it here and here, like a push-up basically, but it's meant to go in a circle. So I'll have people come to a wall and move all the way in a circle one way and then the other way. It's harder than it looks, but that can get that blood flow to the area. You can do that when sitting at your desk too. It's not necessarily the shoulder circle that people think about. Think about it being coming from the bone itself down below. Open book at the wall is here, all the way open and back. Okay, these are simple. You can do this in your chair as well if you need to. No money. If you don't have a band, that's totally fine too. You can do it body weight. But, so, elbows in, grab here, pull out. Just activating everything on the posterior chain because we all end up here. So in terms of posture exercises, everything is pulling us back into a neutral position. Chin tuck, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that one. It's pulling your chin back, kind of like you're making a double chin. It's not looking down, but pulling back, feeling super awkward for 5 seconds, and then relax, embrace the awkward. Median nerve glide is huge for anyone who has numbness and tingling down the arm. So if you're here, head goes opposite direction. You're gonna come out here and then back. Everybody try this. Some of you will get numbness down the arm. If you get numbness down the arm or like this tingling weird thing, you gotta touch the symptoms, come back off. Touch them, come back off. Our nerves are meant to glide. They don't really stretch like a muscle does, but they do need to move. And if they don't move, that's when that tingling comes in. It's coming from the neck. So this is going to help increase that glide. I always think anyone who has numbness and tingling down the arm, 10 every hour on the hour, just do it and it'll help. Touch the symptoms, come back off. Any questions on any of those? I know I'm kind of throwing the kitchen sink at you. Go ahead, Jerry. All right, so in terms of at home, these are simple ones that people aren't as flashy as a bench press and everything like that, but can help pull people back to neutral. So kickstand row. Jerry, if you don't mind holding this. So opposite arm, opposite leg, kickstand position. All you're doing is rowing to neutral and back. See all the time people do this. It's not really a row. All it is a hip rotation. So just to neutral, there's no need to go back here. We just activate different muscles that we're not trying to really activate. And then back here. Band pull apart. So this way. This one's pretty good. And then I also have people go here and here. So you got 3 different options, get all the different directions. In terms of exercise, physical therapy in general, I see most people that work out regularly are really good at sagittal plane movements. So they're really good at things that go straight up and down, squat, deadlift, sometimes lunges, bench press. We're not very good as a society at rotational movements, but that's what stabilizes us. So that goes for upper body and lower body. But in terms of upper body, being able to do things in different directions, it's going to create more stability, help you be able to stay upright a little bit easier. We'll back up.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. He got excited. Bent over, IYT. So if I'm at a bench, so let's pretend that I'm at a bench here. An I is going to be straight out in front of you. Y is here. T is here. We've got a ton of tiny muscles back here that need to be stabilized, and that's what's going to stabilize the shoulder. Doing giant like rowing activities, pull down activities, that's going to activate your lats, which yes, we all need lats. But the stabilizers are going to be activated with these smaller motions here. Okay. Head unsupported pullover. You guys will get a video of this one, but because it's hard for me to show you here. So let's pretend that I'm on the edge of a couch and I'm just laying on my back with my knees bent, but my head is off on the side. So if I'm laying here, my head's not supported at all. You gotta find neutral. So not here, somewhere in the middle. And then all you're gonna do is arms overhead. You're gonna get the activation of the tiny little muscles that we have in the neck that are harder to activate. So essentially it's harder to do than a chin tuck because you gotta hold up your head, and our heads are heavier than we give them credit for. Last one that I think is super important is bent over row. People are usually decent about getting this one in for people that are generally active. So just bent over at a bench, straight up to neutral and back. Same thing as that kickstand row. People that come up here, we're just activating different muscles. I would rather someone load it up, come up to neutral, come back down to neutral there. So all of those require more equipment, but can kind of be good ways to add in if you're already going to the gym, to make sure that we're activating the muscles that we're not necessarily doing great about activating throughout your workday. Cool? Questions? Please someone have a question, otherwise it's awkward.
I have a question. Anyone here have back or neck pain just from being at your desk? No one?
No one.
Good? Everyone's young and healthy? Sometimes, great. Anyone here dealing with any kinds of issues from sitting down a long time as far as like, what are you feeling? What's her name? Ipe. Over here. Got it. Anyone here named Nancy? Good, I'm gonna use a story. So, story about Nervy Nancy, we're gonna call her, okay? So Nervy Nancy was a woman who was working hard at the computer. And Nancy, one day, realized that she couldn't lift up her foot. It just went dead. So Nancy, being nervous, she went to see doctors, and everyone was in sort of awe because nothing's gone on their spine, so everyone thought she had some kind of sciatica issue, and it wasn't there. She just basically couldn't lift her toe up. She had what's called a drop foot, if you ever heard of that. So she's dragging her foot along, can't do anything about it. So I'm the fourth person that Nancy sees. And what happens with Nancy, we're doing our regular tests and everything, nothing's showing up as positive. And then I realized that she's a desk worker, she's at that desk all day. So I asked, hey Nancy, can you tell me like what you look like when you sit down? So she described her posture to me, and she actually had pretty good posture. And to Dr. Megan's point, this is where duration makes a difference. She sat down for 8 hours straight. Now this is going back 20 years ago. So she sat down, and what happened was she was actually compressing a nerve behind her leg. So once we discovered this, we did a couple things. She suddenly got her foot action back, so she actually had full restoration, didn't need surgery. I got a call from the surgeon, was very unhappy that he couldn't operate because that's how they make their money. And so what did you do? Well, we took a look at what was going on. We found some compression behind her leg. And the reason I bring this up is because when you and I do things for a long time, and especially as we all get younger, things just start to accumulate and accumulate over time, pressure, that kind of thing. So to Dr. Megan's point, where if we want to make an effect on our body, be more productive, just be a better contributing human being, getting up, getting down is really important. Does anyone here live an active lifestyle outside of the office? What do you do?
Do sports.
Yeah.
A lot of the training that I do at the gym, to your point, I try to rotate planer and then rotation.
Yeah.
Good.
It's core stuff.
That's
here,
awesome.
The back, but also like your hips, all the stuff and stabilizes you.
It's awesome.
You know, walking up to like this.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you wrestle? You look like a wrestler.
No.
No.
one who has that question.
Cool. Anyone else doing something fun? Runners in here? Anyone? Yes. Excellent. So it's awesome you're getting some cardiovascular fitness in here. But one of the biggest things that we find in our ladies and gentlemen with issues who are sitting down a lot is just that they start to get these accumulated issues. So our biggest thing is, listen, if you have any issues, it makes sense to get them checked out earlier than later. And for all of you here today, because you came to our Lunch and Learn today, you do get a free assessment. It doesn't cost you anything. All we want to do is provide a roadmap so that you have some solutions for yourself on what to do, what not to do, so that you don't end up like Nervy Nancy, dragging her foot, right? Sound good? Any other questions? Yes. What's your name? Gabe.
So this
Hey,
might
Gabe.
sound stupid, but
It's probably not.
There's no stupid questions.
Not when I'm in the office, but when I'm sleeping.
Ah.
Does this apply to like when you sleep, like lay on your back or side or whatever?
Absolutely. And honestly, a lot of times when people have sleep issues, yes, we got to look at sleep positioning, but then I ask, what are you doing during the day? Because it might also just be your body finally being like, oh, I sat all day, or I did this all day. What can I accommodate? What position do you sleep in?
Normally the side.
Okay. But no idea.
Yeah, no, but I'm kind of like restless, so sometimes I have a tendency to like know on my stomach.
Yeah.
Probably not the best. So you gotta turn your neck.
Yeah. Get the whole like kink in
Right.
your neck there too.
For side sleepers, I always recommend a body pillow and then putting something in between the knees, because that'll put your spine in a neutral position rather than being like this all night long.
Especially your shoulders like yours, Gabe, you got to make sure that you have like the right kind of alignment. Right. Otherwise your neck's gonna be like this.
Exactly, yeah. So
right.
It end up like if you're not on top of binding pillows when they go flat, it's even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I would try putting something in between your legs, and then if you can get a body pillow, get a body pillow. Sleeping's hard because a lot of people do move around, and it's like, oh, I fell asleep in a good position, and then I woke up and I was on the other side of the room.
Think about it, 8 hours in the office.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. For sure.
Same posture, for sure. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? That was amazing. Anyone have a good takeaway from what we talked about today? Young lady who nodded her head with the knee pain. What was your big takeaway today? Yeah. Was there anything that in particular you took away from today?
Just a friendly reminder to keep more active.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we all have excuses why we don't do it. Stuck on the phone calls or whatever. But like having cable and headsets or stuff like that, you can always walk around. So basically there's no excuse, and I think you made a really good statement how important it is.
Yeah, 100%. And you're still so young, so we got to make sure that as you're getting younger, that you have all that mobility that you still have right now, so you can do the things that you do, the things that you love to do. Cool.
I think that's one good reminder that he has a standing desk.
Yes, sure.
He bought them for you. Use them.
Yeah, I would say most of the issues that we see in physical therapy can be mitigated just by moving around, living a little bit of active lifestyle, 20 minutes a day, just getting out there, your beautiful campus here, walking around for a little bit. I know it's kind of muggy today, but these are things that are so easy to get your body back into movement and get everything into good equilibrium. Cool. Yes?
Prefer like cushions to stand on that you guys recommend, like a certain thickness or something?
For sitting or for?
Standing.
I stand a lot.
I think the standard one is like about an inch or so.
Yeah.
The
Inch or
anti-fatigue
so.
mats?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Inch.
exactly. Is that another purchase for the company? Yeah, really helpful. I've used it at home. It's a game changer, I have to say. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe I'm missing something. What is the purpose of a standing cushion?
Gives cushion to the body. But then again, going back to variability, the body responds well to things changing. So if we stand here all day long, we're probably not going to feel very good. If we stand on a cushion, probably also not going to feel very good, but doing a little bit of both. But then it can give the joints a little bit of support, just like how it feels different sitting in a cushioned chair versus a concrete chair. Yeah.
One other question.
Yeah.
So my daughter and I are having this debate. Is it better to be like barefoot to build up strength, or is it better to have some type of cushiony shoe on at home?
I think we're biased towards being barefoot. And the reason why, I'll tell you why. And this, for any runners, I think the young lady over there had mentioned she's a runner. The way that shoes are built these days, we don't have any contact with the ground. And you'd be surprised how many people can't stand on one foot. I bet if I had everyone stand up, half of you would be like, oh my God, right? What am I doing? And what happens is when you lose touch with the ground, your feet muscles actually start to get weaker, which means that your sensation gets weaker, which means your risk for falling is exponentially higher. And I don't know if you know that in stats, but the risk of falling and breaking your hip when you're 70 or 80 is like the mortality rate is very, very high. So anything you can do right now, just doing this barefoot, kind of feeling your foot in the ground, super, super helpful. So I don't know who agreed. I don't know who wanted the barefoot or not, but yeah, exactly.
I have a bad knee.
Uh-huh.
She was like, but if you don't go barefoot, then you might, I don't know.
Yeah. I think being barefoot with the anti-fatigue mat, especially when you know you're gonna be standing at an area for a while, very, very helpful. Yeah. Yes.
Standing on the shoes, single leg, is easy.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Barefoot,
you know
you're-
yourself, right? Yes. What's your name?
Will,
Hey, Will.
I've seen a lot of underdressed peddlers.
Yeah. I love the idea. I've also seen the little treadmill there. Is that what you mean? I've seen that
Yeah.
too.
The treadmills are great.
I wish I had one actually. Burn calories and you're also moving. Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
Is that something you recommend?
If you can do both, great. I know people, some people can't even do this, so just be careful. Yeah. Any other last minute burning questions? Yes.
Is there a healthy way to work in bed?
Healthy way to work in bed.
Wait, no.
I can
Coming from someone who
almost be
did,
inappropriate, but let me think
I
about
did-
this.
I did all of my undergrad and PT. Like I found myself more productive in my bed than I did at a desk. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just did. There are so like we have. There's like almost like a TV tray that can help get you upright a little bit more. I'm not going to like if you're more productive, you're more productive, but same concept of keep moving. So like take some time with your feet out to the side, then cross them, straight out, then cross them. But finding a way to get your workspace up rather than have it be here.
Huge. Yeah.
Keys the laptop.
Yeah, you're like
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Yes, which you're probably guilty of. So find like get like a extra tall like TV stand that you would like the food stands and just put your laptop on it.
And I would encourage you to do sort of a survey or inventory of your daily kind of postures, because we have solved many issues of physical therapy just by asking the right questions. And people realize, oh wait, I do that for a long time. So these are things that you want to kind of be reflective about when you're going through your day-to-day. Like, what do I do a lot that requires me to stay in one place? And try to do a little bit less of that.
Cool. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you
I
so
will
much,
leave
guys.
my business card here, and then anyone who has anything at all, like he said, if you guys have any issues at all, whether it's posture related or I rolled my ankle last week and I don't know what to do, just call. We'll get to it and we'll chat for free.
Yeah, and actually, Nilesh, if anyone here, whatever, even today or whatever, would like to have like their station sort of like looked at, so we can sort of optimize, we can set a time up for that as well, Nilesh. Sound good?
Cool.
Great.
Thank you
all.
guys so much.